Among the split-second decisions paramedics make is whether to use sedatives to subdue people in emergencies, including those being arrested by police.
When someone's really severely agitated or profoundly agitated, it will take a lot of people to put them down. We will sometimes have to put them in restraints, and it's all simultaneous.
HCMC has published studies on something known as excited delirium, which can be fatal as people struggle with officers and suffer from metabolic acidosis. That's why Hennepin Healthcare paramedics began using the anesthetic ketamine in the field in 2008 to sedate some patients, including some who are being arrested.
You're really ensuring the patient, and I know it seems paradoxical, the patient is safe, that the other personnel are safe.
Dr. William Heegard, the chief medical officer at Hennepin Health, responded today to an internal police report leaked to the Star Tribune, which said that EMS crews are using ketamine far more often now on people at the request of arresting officers.
We do not have access to these cases, the details. There's lots of details. We don't have access to the videos.
Heegard said just 4 of the 8 cases in the newspaper report involved HCMC crews, and the initial in-house review found no wrongdoing.
We have reviewed the 4 cases that are in Hennepin EMS. We believe it fits within our protocol, but we understand the concern. We'll have it reviewed again.
Dr. Heegard said this all started in April when some of his own EMS people raised the question of who has final say in the field when it comes to ketamine, the officer or the paramedic. Police commanders have already sent a reminder to officers that paramedics make that final call. Back to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you, John.